Alright. So, here we are. Hopefully got this working now. So I was messing with my settings and stuff. I've been streaming on Twitch a lot. And I just for the first time started using Streamlabs to stream to YouTube. And it wiped all my sources, all my scenes, everything. Everything's gone. Even when I go back to Twitch, it's gone. So I had to remake everything real quick. Originally today was going to be about like a 1 to 2 hour read session, but I've been fucking with this for so damn long. It's only going to be about 20 to 30 minutes today. So here we go. This is, I might not even get to read a whole lot right now because I got to explain the book and stuff still. So the #1 master of horrors, demonic masterpiece, The Demonata, Lord Lost by Darren Shan. Darren Shan is my favorite British author. I have read all of his books except for the zombie series, and I own all of his books except for the zombie series and the city series. Loved by millions of fans worldwide, the Demonata series is a groundbreaking demonic symphony in 10 parts from the undisputed master of horror, Darren Shan. Get ready to enter a whole new dimension of fear. When Grubbs Grady first encounters Lord Lost and his evil minions, he thinks that he will never again witness such a terrible night of death and darkness. But he is very wrong. He is very wrong. This series is fantastic, and I read this when I was in high school. And I figure this will be the second time I've ever read it, so let's get right into it. This is Chapter 1, Part 1. And you can see these are some other things, by him. The Saga of Darren Shan, also known as the Cirque du Freak, has 12 books in it. Also, fantastic series. It has a sub-series to it called the Saga of Larton Crepsley, which is one of the main protagonists of that series. So, Chapter 1, Rat Guts. Double history on a Wednesday afternoon. Total nightmare. A few minutes ago, I would have said I couldn't imagine anything worse. But when there's a knock at the door and it opens, and I spot my mom outside, I realize life can always change. When a parent turns up at school unexpected, it means one of two things. Either somebody close to you has been seriously injured or died, or you are in trouble. My immediate reaction, please don't let anybody be dead. I think of dad, Gret, uncles, aunts, cousins. It could be any of them, alive and kicking this morning, now stiff and cold. Tongue sticking out, a slab of dead meat just waiting to be buried. I remember Gran's funeral, the open coffin, her shining flesh, having to kiss her forehead, the pain, the tears. Please, don't let anybody be dead, please, please, please. Then I see Mum's face, white with rage, and I know she's here to punish, not to comfort. I groan, roll my eyes, and mutter under my breath, bring on the corpses. The head's office. Me, Mum, and Mr. Donnellan. Mum's ranting and raving about cigarettes. I've been seen smoking behind the bike shed, the oldest cliche in the book. She wants to know if the head's aware of this, and what the pupils of his school are getting up to. I feel a bit sorry for Mr. Donnellan. He has to sit there, looking like a schoolboy himself, shuffling his feet and saying he didn't know this was going on, and he'll launch an investigation and put a quick end to it. Liar! Of course he knew. Every school is a smoking area, that's life. Teachers don't approve, but they turn a blind eye most of the time. Certain kids smoke. It's a fact. Safer to have them smoking at school than sneaking off the grounds during breaks and at lunch. Mum knows that too. She must. She was a kid once. Like she's always reminding me. Kids were no different in Mum's time. If she stopped for a minute and thought back, she'd see what a bloody embarrassment she's being. I wouldn't mind her having a go at me at home, but you don't march into school and start laying down the law in the headmaster's office. She's out of order, big time. But it's not like I can tell her, is it? I can't pipe up. Oi! Mom! You're distracting both of us, so shut your trap. I smirk at the thought, and of course that's when Mum pauses for the briefest of moments and catches me. What are you grinning at? She roars, and then she's off again. I'm smoking myself into an early grave. The school's responsible. What sort of freak show is Mr. Tomlin running? La-di-da-di-da-di-da. That's my horrible impression of a school bell. Her rant at school's nothing compared to the one I get at home, screaming at the top of her lungs, blue, bloody murder. She's going to send me off to boarding school. No, military school. See how I like that. Having to get up at dawn each morning and do 100 press-ups, that's interesting, before breakfast. How does that sound? Is breakfast a fry-up or some cereally yogurty crap? Is my response. And I know the second it's out of my mouth that it's the wrong thing to say. This isn't the time for the famed Grubbs Grady brand of cutting-edge humor. Cue the enraged mum fireworks. Who do I think I am? Do I know how much they spend on me? What if I get kicked out of school? Then the clincher, the one mums all over the world love pulling out of the hat. Just wait till your father gets home. Oh boy. Father's not as freaked out as Mom, but he's not happy. He tells me how disappointed he is. They've warned me so many times about the dangers of smoking, how it destroys people's lungs and gives them cancer. Smoking's dumb, he says. We're in the kitchen. I haven't been out since Mom dragged me home from school early, except to go to the toilet. It's disgusting, antisocial, and lethal. Why do you do it, Grubbs? I thought you had more sense. I shrugged wordlessly. What's there to say? They're being unfair. Of course smoking is dumb. Of course it gives you cancer. Of course I shouldn't be doing it, but my friends smoke. It's cool. You get to hang out with cool people at lunch and talk about cool things. But only if you smoke. You can't be in if you're out. And they know that. Yet, here they stand acting all Gestapo, asking me to account for my actions. How long has he been smoking? That's what I want to know. Mum's started referring to me as in the third person since Dad arrived. I'm beneath direct mention. Yes, he says. How long, Grubbs? I don't know. Weeks, months, longer? A few months maybe, but only a couple of days. Now, if he says a couple, he means at least 5 or 6. No, I don't. A couple. I mean a couple. Don't raise your voice to me. Easy. Do you know... Sorry. Do you think it's clever? Filling your lungs with rubbish? Killing yourself? We didn't bring you up to watch you give yourself to cancer. We don't need this. Certainly not at this time. Not when... Enough! Dad shouts. We both jump. Dad almost never shouts. He usually gets very quiet when he's angry. Now his face is red and glaring. But it's at both of us, not just me. Mom coughs. As if she's embarrassed, she sits, brushes her hair back off of her face, and looks at me with wounded eyes. I hate when she pulls a face like this. It's impossible to look at her straight or argue. I want you to stop, Grubbs, Dad says. Back in control now. We're not going to punish you. Mom starts to object, but Dad silences her with a curt wave of his hand. But I want your word that you'll stop. I know it won't be easy. I know your friends will give you a hard time, but this is important. Some things matter more than looking cool. Will you promise, Grubbs? He pauses. Of course, that's if you're able to quit. Of course I'm able. I'm not addicted or anything. Then will you? For your sake, not ours? I shrug, trying to act like it's no big thing. Like I was planning to stop anyway. Sure, if you're gonna make that much of a fuss about it, I yawn. Dad smiles, Mom smiles, I smile. When Gret walks in the back door, and she's smiling too, but it's an evil, big sister superior kind of smile, have we sorted all our little problems out yet? She asks, voice high and fake innocent. And I know instantly, Gret grasped me up to Mum. She found out I was smoking, she told. That cow. As she swishes past, beaming like an angel, I burn fiery holes in the back of her head with my eyes, and a single word echoes through my head like the sound of ungodly thunder. Revenge. I love rubbish dumps. You can find all sorts of disgusting stuff there. The perfect place to go browsing if you want to get even with your annoying traitor of a sister. I climb over mounds of garbage and root through black bags and soggy cardboard boxes. Now, I'm not sure exactly what I'm gonna use or in what fashion, so I wait for the inspiration to strike. Then, in a small plastic bag, I find 6 dead rats, necks broken, just starting to rot. Excellent! Look out, Gret, here I come. Eating breakfast at the kitchen table, radio turned down low, listening to the noises upstairs, trying not to giggle, waiting for the outburst. Gret's in her shower. She showers at least twice a day before she goes to school and when she gets back. Sometimes she has one before going to bed too. I don't know why anybody would bother to keep themselves so clean. I reckon it's a form of madness. Because she's so obsessed with showering, Mom and Dad gave her the en-suite bathroom. They figured I wouldn't mind, and I don't. In fact, it's perfect. I wouldn't have been able to pull off my trick if Gret didn't have her own shower. With its very own towel rack, the shower goes off. Splatters, then drips, then silence. I tense with excitement. I know Gret's routines inside and out. She always pulls her towel down off its rack after she's showered, not before. I can't hear her footsteps, but I imagine her taking the 3 or 4 steps to the towel rack, reaching up, pulling it down, and on cue, screams galore. A shocked, single scream to start, then a volley of them, one running into the other. I push my bowl of soggy cornflakes aside and prepare myself for the biggest laugh of the year. Mom and Dad are by the sink discussing the day ahead. They go stiff when they hear the screams, then dash towards the stairs, which I can see from where I'm sitting. Gret appears before they reach the stairs, crashes out of her room screaming, slapping bloody shreds from her arms, tearing them from her hair. She's covered in red, towel clutched with one hand over her front, even terrified out of her wits. There's no way she's going to come down naked. What's wrong? Mom shouts. What's happening? Blood! Gret screams. I'm covered in blood. I pull the towel down. She stops. She spotted me laughing. I'm doubled over. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen. Mom turns and looks at me. Dad does too. They are speechless. Gret picks a sticky pink chunk out of her hair, slowly this time, and studies it. What did you put in my towel? She asks quietly. Rat guts! I howl, pounding the table, crying with laughter. I got rats at this rubbish dump, chopped them up, and I almost get sick. I'm laughing so much. Mom stares at me, Dad stares at me, Gret stares at me. Then, you lousy son of a... I didn't catch the rest of the insult. Gret flies down the stairs ahead of it. She drops the towel on the way. I don't have time to react to that before she's on me, slapping and scratching my face. What's wrong, Gretelda? I giggle, fending her off, calling her by the name that she hates. She normally calls me Grubbitch in response, but she's too mad to think of it now. Scum! She shrieks. Then she lunges at me sharply, grabs my jaw, jerks my mouth open, and tries her hardest to stuff a handful of rat guts down my throat. I stop laughing instantly. A mouthful of rotten rat guts wasn't part of the grand Uber joke. Get off! I roar, lashing out wildly. Mom and Dad suddenly recover and shout at exactly the same time. Stop that! Don't hit your sister! She's a lunatic! I gasp, pushing myself away from her. They're from the steaming Gret, falling off my chair. He's an animal, Gret sobs, picking more chunks of guts from her hair, wiping rat blood from her face. I realize she's crying. Serious waterworks. Her face is as red as her long, straight hair. Not red from the blood, red from anger, shame, and fear? Mom picks up the dropped towel, takes it to Gret, wraps it around her. Dad's just behind them, face as dark as death. Gret picks more strands and loops of rat guts from her hair, then howls with anguish. They're all over me, she yells, then throws some of the guts at me. You bloody little monster. You are the one who's bloody, I cackle. Ket dives for my throat. No more! Dad doesn't raise his voice, but his tone stops us dead. Mom's staring at me with open disgust. Dad's shooting daggers. I sense that I'm the only one who sees the funny side of this. It was just a joke, I mutter defenselessly before the accusations fly. I hate you, Gret hisses, then bursts into fresh tears and flees dramatically. Cal, Mom says, to Dad, freezing me with an ice-cold glare. Take Grubbitch in hand. I'm going to try and comfort Gretelda. Mum always calls us by our given names. She's the one who picked them, and is the only person in the world who doesn't see how shudderingly awful they are. Let's see here. Viewers hidden. Why are viewers hidden? That was weird. Mum heads upstairs. Dad sighs, walks to the counter, tears off several sheets of kitchen paper, and mops up some of the guts and streaks of blood from the floor. After a couple of silent minutes of this, as I lie uncertainly by my upturned chair, he turns his steely gaze on me. Lots of sharp lines around his mouth and eyes. The sign that he's really angry, and even angrier than he was about me smoking. You should not have done that, he says. It was funny, I mutter. No, it wasn't. She deserved it, I cry. She's done worse to me. She told Mom about me smoking. I know it was her. And remember the time she melted my lead soldiers and cut up my comics? And there are some things you should never do. Dad interrupts softly. This was wrong. You invaded your sister's privacy. Humiliated her. Terrified her senseless. And the timing. He pauses and ends with a fairly weak, upset her greatly. He checks his watch. Get ready for school. We'll discuss your punishment later. I trudge upstairs miserably, unable to see what all the aggro is about. It was a great joke. I laughed for hours when I thought about it, and all the hard work chopping the rats up, mixing in some water to keep them fresh and make them gooey, getting up early, sneaking into her bathroom while she was asleep, carefully putting the guts in place. Wasted. I pass Gret's room and I hear her crying pitifully. Mum's whispering softly to her. My stomach gets hard. The way it does when I know I've done something bad. I ignore it. I don't care what they say, I grumble, kicking open the door to my room and tearing off my pajamas. It was a brilliant joke. Purgatory. Confined to my room after school for a month. A whole bloody month. No TV, no computer, no comics, no books, except school books. Dad leaves my chess set in the room too. No fear my chess-mad parents would take that away from me. Chess is almost a religion in this house. Gret and I were reared on it. While other toddlers were being taught how to put jigsaws together, we were busy learning the ridiculous rules of chess. I came downstairs for meals, and bathroom visits are allowed. But otherwise, I'm a prisoner. I can't even go outside at the weekends. In solitude, I call Gret every name under the moon the first night. Mum and Dad bear the brunt of my curses the next. After that, I'm too miserable to blame anyone, so I sulk in moody silence and play chess against myself to pass the time. They don't talk to me at meals. The three of them act like I'm not there. Like I'm not there. Gret doesn't even glance at me spitefully and sneer. Yeah, the way she usually does when I'm getting the doghouse treatment. But what have I done that's so bad? Okay, it was a crude joke and I knew I'd get in trouble, but their reactions are way too over the top. If I'd done something to embarrass Gret in public, fair enough. I'd take what was coming, but this is a private joke, just between us. They shouldn't be making such a song and dance about it. Dad's words echo back at me, and the timing. I think about them a lot. And Mum's, when she was having a go at me about smoking just before Dad cut her short. We don't need this. Certainly not at this time. Not when. What did they mean? What were they talking about? What does the timing have to do with anything? Something stinks here, and it's not just the rat guts. I spent a lot of time writing. Diary entries, stories, poems. I tried drawing a comic. Grubbs Grady, superhero. But I'm no good at art. I get great marks in my other subjects, way better than goat-faced Gret ever gets, and I often remind her, but I have all of the artistic talent of a duck. I play lots of games of chess. Mom and Dad are chess fanatics. There's a board in every room, and they play several games most nights against each other or friends from the chess club. They make Gret and I play too. My earliest memory is of sucking on a white rook while Dad explains how a knight moves. I can beat just about anyone my age. I've won regional competitions, but I'm not in the same class as Mum, Dad, or Gret. Gret's won at national level and can wipe the floor with me 9 times out of 10. I've only ever beaten Mum twice in my life. Dad? Never. It's been the biggest argument starter all my life. Mum and Dad don't put pressure on me to do well in school or at other games, but they press me all the time at chess. They make me read chess books and watch videotape tournaments. We have long debates over meals and in Dad's study about legendary games, grandmasters, and how I can improve. They send me to tutors and keep entering me in competitions. I've argued with them about it. I'd rather spend time watching and playing football, but they've always stood firm. White rook takes black pawn, threatens black queen. Black queen moves to safety. I chase her with my bishop. Black queen moves again, still in danger. This is childish stuff. I could have cut off the threat 5 moves back when it became apparent, but I don't care. In a petty way, this is me striking back. You take my TV and computer away. Stick me up here on my own? Okay. I'm gonna learn how to play the worst game of chess in the world. See how you like that, Corporal Dad and Commandant Mom? Not exactly Luke Skywalker striking back against the evil empire by blowing up a Death Star, I know, but hey, we've all got to start somewhere. Studying my hair in the mirror. Stiff, tight, ginger. Dad used to be ginger when he was younger, before the gray set in. Says he was 15 or 16 when he noticed the change. So, if I follow in his footsteps, I've only got a handful or so of years of unbroken ginger to look forward to. I like the idea of a few gray hairs, not a whole head of them like Dad, but just a few. And spread out. I don't want a skunk patch. I'm big for my age, taller than most of my friends and burly. I don't look old, but if I had a few gray hairs, I might be able to pass for an adult in poor light, bluff my way into 18 rated movies. The door opens. Gret, smiling shyly. I'm 19 days into my sentence, full of hate for Gratilda, grotesque. She's the last person that I want to see. Get out. I came to make up, she says. Too late. I've only got 11 days to go. I'd rather see them out than kiss your... I stop. She's holding out a plastic bag, something white inside. What's that? I ask suspiciously. A present to make up for you getting grounded, she says, and lays it out on my bed. She glances out the window. The curtains are open. A 3/4 moon lights up the sill. There are some chess pieces on it from when I was playing earlier. Gret shivers, then turns away. Mom and Dad said you can come out. The punishment's over. They've ended it early. She leaves. Bewildered, I tear up the plastic. Inside, a Tottenham Hotspur shirt, shorts and socks. I'm stunned. The Super Spurs are my team, my football champions. Mom used to buy me their latest kit at the start of every season until I hit puberty and sprouted. She won't buy me any new kits until I stopped growing. I outgrew the last one in just a month. This must have cost Gret a fortune. It's the brand new kit, not last season's. This is the first time she's ever given me a present except at Christmas and birthdays, and Mom and Dad have never cut short a grounding before. They're very strict about making us stick to any punishment that they set. What the hell is going on? 3 days after my early release, to say things are strange is the understatement of the decade. The atmosphere is just like it was when Gran died. Mom and Dad wander around like robots, not saying much. Gret mopes in her room or in the kitchen, stuffing herself with sweets and playing chess nonstop. She's like an addict. It's bizarre. I want to ask them about it, but how? Mom, Dad, have aliens taken over your bodies? Is somebody dead and you're too afraid to tell me? Have you all converted to miseryism? Seriously, jokes aside, I'm frightened. They're sharing a secret. Something's bad. And keeping me out of it. Why? Is it to do with me? Do they know something that I don't? Like maybe... Go on, have the guts, say it. Like maybe I'm going to die? Stupid. An overreaction. Maybe reading too much into this. Perhaps. But they cut short my punishment. Gret gave me a present. They look like they're about to burst into tears at any given moment. Grubbs Grady, on his way out. A deadly disease I caught on holiday? A brain defect I've had since birth? The big, bad cancer bug? What other explanation is there? Regale me with your thoughts on ballet. I'm watching football highlights, alone in the TV room with Dad. I cock my ear at the weird, out-of-nowhere question and shrug. Rubbish, I snort. You don't think it's an incredibly beautiful art form? You've never wished to experience it firsthand? You don't want to glide across Swan Lake or get sweet with a nutcracker? I choke on a laugh. Is this a wind-up? Dad smiles. Just wanted to check. I got a great offer on tickets to performance tomorrow. I bought 3, anticipating your less than enthusiastic reaction, but I could probably get an extra one if you want to tag along. No way. Your loss. Dad clears his throat. The ballet is out of town and finishes quite late. It will be easier for us to stay in a hotel overnight. Does that mean I'll have the house to myself? I ask excitedly. No such luck, he chuckles. I think you're old enough to guard the fort, but Sharon, Mum, has a different view, and she's the boss. You'll have to stay with Aunt Kate. Not no date Kate, I groan. Aunt Kate's only a couple of years older than Mom, but she lives like a 90-year-old. Has a black and white TV, but only turns it on for the news. Listens to the radio the rest of the time. Couldn't I kill myself instead, I quip. Don't make jokes like that, Dad snaps with unexpected venom. I stare at him, hurt, and he forces a thin smile. Sorry, hard day at the office. I'll arrange it with Kate then. He stumbles as he exits, as if he's nervous. For a minute there, it was like normal, me and Dad messing about, and I forgot all my worries. Now they come flooding back. If I'm not for the chop, why was he so upset with my throwaway gag? Curious and afraid, I slink to the door and eavesdrop as he phones Aunt Kate and clears my stay with her. Nothing suspicious in their conversation. He doesn't talk about me as if these are my final days. Even hangs up with a cheery toodlepip. Toodlepip? That's something I've never heard of before. A corny phrase that he often uses on the phone. I'm about to withdraw and catch up with the football action when I hear Gret speaking softly from the stairs. He didn't want to come? No, Dad whispers back. It's all set? Yes, he'll stay with Kate. It'll just be the 3 of us. Couldn't we wait until next month? Best to do it now. It's too dangerous to put it off. I'm scared, Dad. I know, love. So am I. Silence. Mum drops me off at Aunt Kate's. They exchange some small talk on the doorstep, but Mum's in a rush and cuts the chat short. Says she's has to hurry in or they'll be late for the ballet. Aunt Kate buys that. But I've cracked their cover story. I don't know what Mom and Co. are up to tonight, but they're not going to watch a load of posers in tights jumping around like puppets. Be good for your aunt, Mom says, tweaking the hairs of my fringe. Enjoy the ballet, I reply, smiling hollowly. Mom hugs me, then kisses me. I can't remember the last time that she kissed me. There's something desperate about it. I love you, Grubbage, she croaks, almost sobbing. If I hadn't already known something was very, very wrong, the dread in her voice would have tipped me off. Prepared for it, I'm able to grin and flip back at her, Humphrey Bogart style. Love you too, sweetheart. Mom drives away. I think she's crying. Make yourself comfy in the living room, Aunt Kate simpers. I'll fix a nice pot of tea for us. It's almost time for the news. I make an excuse after the news. Sore stomach, need to rest. Aunt Kate makes me gulp down 2 large spoons of cod liver oil, then sends me up to bed. I wait 5 minutes until I hear Frank Sinatra crooning. No Date Kate loves Old Blue Eyes and always manages to find him on the radio. When I hear her singing along to some corny ballad, I slip downstairs and out the front door. I don't know what's going on, but now that I know I'm not set to go toes up, I'm determined to see it through with them. I don't care what sort of mess they're in. I won't let Mum, Dad, and Gret freeze me out, no matter how bad it is. We're family. We should face things together. That's what Mum and Dad always taught me. Padding through the streets, covering the 6 kilometers home as quickly as I can. They could be anywhere, but I'll start with the house. If I don't find them there, I'll look for clues to where they might be. I think of Dad saying he's scared. Mum trembling as she kissed me. Gret's voice when she was on the stairs. My stomach tightens with fear, and I ignore it. I jog at a steady pace and try spitting the taste of cod liver oil out of my mouth. Home. I spot a chink of light in Mom and Dad's bedroom, where the curtains just fail to meet. It doesn't mean they're in. Mom always leaves the lights on to deter burglars. I slip around the back and peer through the garage window. The car's parked inside, so they are here. This is where it all kicks off, whatever it is. I creep up to the back door, crouch, poke the dog flap open, listen for sounds. None. I was 8 when our last dog died. Mom said she was never allowing another one inside the house. They always got killed on the roads, and she was sick of burying them. Every few months, Dad says he must board over the dog flap or get a new door, but he never has. I think he's still secretly hoping she'll change her mind. Dad loves dogs. When I was a baby, I could crawl through the flap. Mom had to keep me tied into the kitchen table to keep me tied to the kitchen table to stop me from sneaking out of the house when she wasn't looking. Much too big for it now, so I fish under the pyramid-shaped stone to the left of the door and locate the spare key. The kitchen's cold. It shouldn't be. The sun's been shining all day and it's nice and warm. It's a nice warm night. But it's like standing in a refrigerator aisle at a supermarket. I creep to the hall door and stop, again listening for sounds. None. Leaving the kitchen, I check the TV room. Mom's fancily decorated the living room, off limits to Gret and me, except for special occasions, and Dad's study. Empty. All as cold as the kitchen. Coming out of the study, I notice something is strange and do a double take. There's a chessboard in the corner. Dad's prize chess set. The pieces are based on characters from the King Arthur legends, hand-carved by some famous craftsmen in the 19th century. Cost a fortune. Dad never told Mom the exact price. Never dared. I walked to the board, carved out of marble, 10 centimeters thick. I played a game with Dad on its smooth surface just a few weeks ago. Now it's scarred by deep, ugly gouges, almost like fingernail scratches, except no human could drag their nails through solid marble. And all of the carefully crafted pieces are missing. The board is bare. Up the stairs, sweating nervously, fingers clenched tight. My breath comes out as a mist before my eyes. Part of me wants to turn tail and run. I shouldn't be here. I don't need to be here. Nobody would know if I backed up, and I flash back to Gret's face after the rat guts prank. Her tears, her pain, her smile when she gave me the Tottenham kit. We fight all the time, but I love her deep down, and not that deep either. I'm not going to leave her alone with Mom and Dad to face whatever trouble they're in. Like I told myself earlier, we are family. Dad's always said families should pull together and fight as a team. I want to be a part of this, even though I don't know what this is. Even though Mom and Dad did all they could to keep me out of this, even though this terrifies me senseless, the landing. Not as cold as downstairs. I tried my bedroom, then Gret's. Empty, very warm. The chess pieces on Gret's board are also missing. Mine haven't been taken, but they lie scattered on the floor, and my board has been smashed to splinters. Hey, hon. Let me see. Let's see how many pages I have left for this chapter done. Oh yeah, I literally have just one more page. So, finish up the page and go from there. I'll see you in about 10 minutes. Okay, love you. Bye-bye. Okay. Empty, very warm. The chess piece on Gret's board are also missing. Mine haven't been taken, but they lie scattered on the floor, and my board has been smashed to splinters. I edge closer to Mom and Dad's room. I've known all along that this is where they must be, delaying the moment of truth. Gret likes to call me a coward when she wants to hurt me. Big as I am, I've always gone out of my way to avoid fights. I used to think and fear that she might be right. Each step I take toward my parents' room proves to my surprise that she was wrong. The door feels red hot, as though a fire is burning behind it. I press an ear to the wood. If I hear the crackle of flames, I'll race straight to the phone and dial 911. But there's no crackle, no smoke, just deep, heavy breathing and a curious dripping sound. My hand's on the doorknob. My fingers won't move. I keep my ear pressed to the wood, waiting, praying. A tear trickles from my left eye. It dries on my cheek from the heat. Inside the room, somebody giggles. Low, throaty, sadistic. Not Mum, Dad, or Gret. There's a ripping sound, followed by snaps and crunches. My hand turns. The door opens. Hell is revealed. Alright, so that is chapter 1. I'm very happy we were able to finish that today. And that took about 35 minutes, so thank you guys for tuning in. Go ahead and subscribe and everything. If you would subscribe, that would be nice. I can see that there's one person watching right now, whoever you are. Can you go ahead and click the subscribe button, please? I want to see if like the thing pops up on my screen. I just want to make sure that it's working because I haven't got a chance to test any of it. And even if like you leave a chat message, please do that too, so I can actually see like where it puts it on the screen. Like obviously I know where it's going to put it on the screen, but I want to see how it, you know, turns out. Okay. Well, you guys have a good one, and we'll see you tomorrow.